This video is about changing your head position in the cockpit to improve your flying skills. And I'm talking about the up and down viewpoint, the default camera view. I've got a button on the joystick which I've mapped to snap me back to the default view. But for me, my head is just slightly too high at the moment. I'm looking down, I can just see the nose of the aircraft there. When I look sideways, I'd like to be a little bit lower to get a slightly better view underneath the wing. So the setting I'm talking about is press escape, general options, camera, and it's this setting here, the cockpit camera default height. Now I know for this aircraft, for the 152, I like it to be set at 40. Which means that the cowling there is just disappearing underneath the top of the panel. I've got a slightly better view under the wing there, but what I'm mainly interested in is the position of the horizon. So I'm flying fairly level here, and the horizon is just showing above the panel, and I've learned the correct position for the horizon for various stages of the flight. So if I show you some pictures to illustrate what I mean. So in level flight, my horizon is here. Now I'm not a real pilot, I'm not qualified to teach this stuff in any way, but if you were having flying lessons, your instructor would teach you to spend less time looking at your instruments and more time looking at the horizon to do various maneuvers. So without looking at your vertical speed indicator, if you learn the position of the horizon above this panel, you can judge whether you are flying level or not. So for me, I know that this distance here is the correct one for level flight. In the turn, this distance also applies. If you look at a point directly above your control column, that distance there is the same distance as we saw a minute ago. And you can learn how much slope the horizon should make for a correct turn. So here I'm just short of a standard rate turn. I can't see the horizon out of this window, but the horizon hasn't yet touched this bit sticking out here. I know that for a standard rate turn it should be just below that bit. Turning the other way, we've got a similar situation. This distance should be the same if you are maintaining level flight in the turn, and I know that the horizon should be just showing out of that window there. Now you can only rely on these things if you've set your head position to be in a consistent place. During the climb after takeoff, you probably want to climb at Vy, so that's your speed that's most efficient for getting up to altitude. In the 152, the speed for the climb is about 67 knots, and I know that the horizon should be pretty much level with that division in the panel. And in a lot of these training aircraft, single engine piston, as a general rule, if the horizon is level with the top of your instruments or just above that, you're probably at your Vy attitude. So that's all well and good, but can you do that in every aircraft? Well, no, because you have to change the camera position. So in this aircraft, with that same camera position, I think I'm just slightly too high with my head position. So I know that in this aircraft I like 35. So in this aircraft the horizon tends to be a little bit higher above the canopy than I had in the 152, but the same thing applies. If I find that point that's just a given distance above the panel and keep that on the horizon during the turn, then I can be fairly confident that I'm remaining level without having to stare at the vertical speed indicator. And in other aircraft the position is very different. So in the awesome Grravel Savage we've been given a very high head position, and it's difficult to see underneath the wing as well, so I'm going to really drop that down. More like 15, which means get a better view underneath the wing, and also you can use the horizon more easily to maintain the correct attitude during your turns. And how do I keep track of all these different numbers? Well, as you can imagine, I've got a system for that. So for each aircraft I've got a little card, just bought a pack of those from the supermarket. I write my V-speeds on that, and I write my view nut value on that as well, and it only takes about 10 seconds to change between aircraft, but it means that you can fly a bit more like a real pilot by using the horizon instead of your instruments for nice accurate turns. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.